Yuzo Koshiro is a legend. I think that's safe to say. We all know one of the most legendary OSTs of all time in gaming, Streets of Rage 2. I think it's gotta be a top 3 to 5 soundtrack of all time, and I don't care who you ask. But his work on iconic soundtracks like Streets of Rage 1, even his divisive work on some of the stuff in Streets of Rage 3, as well as all of his pre-Streets of Rage and post-Streets of Rage works like Shenmue, all have a certain sound. And what makes Yuzo Koshiro's music stand out so much to me is how he uses things like house, how he uses things like breakbeats and other complementary stylings to give his music a very unique video game but not sound. When you hear the arrangements of something like Go Straight, you just know that this is more than just video game music. Though there's nothing wrong with just being video game music, let it be known, because we all love video game music, especially if you're here. So, Yuzo Koshiro needs no introduction. But what might need an introduction is why I am covering the game we're talking about today, Revenge of Shinobi. Why would a rap producer react to this? Well, when you watch my Shinobi 3 retrospective, trust me, it's worth it. You'll remember that I talk about how I actually thought that Yuzo composed the music for Shinobi 3. He did not. That soundtrack is super dope, but it does have a unique sound, and in hindsight, I should have seen it coming, y'all. What was I thinking? But he did compose the soundtrack for Revenge of Shinobi, a game that, despite being a huge Sega Genesis and Mega Drive fan, I just never really got into. I realized as a kid that certain types of games were just a little too old feeling for me. Not bad, but just a little outdated for what I enjoyed. That arcadey feel was just not it for me. Now, Shinobi 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, so definitely go check out that retrospective, because I do talk about the music quite a bit there as well. So with all that said, I am on a mission to hear as much Yuzo Koshiro music as I can. So if you want to hear me listen to more Yuzo tunes that I've missed, because I've never played Shenmue 1 or 2, obviously Streets of Rage 4 did some great work there as well. But if you'd like to hear more rap producer reacts to Yuzo Koshiro music, let me know down below what your favorite slept on Yuzo Koshiro soundtrack is, and if I get enough love for him, we'll go ahead and check it out. So trust me, stick around, show some love, and we're gonna go ahead and get into this. Rap producer reacts, Revenge of Shinobi OST, top to bottom. Let go. All right, so track 1 is simply known as Opening. This is the opening soundtrack hit. Let's go ahead and get into this, see what it is about this soundtrack that's dope. I think what I have heard from Revenge of Shinobi when I've played pockets of it is that it really does have that Yuzo sound in the sense that it has some of that house element, it has some of that kind of those breakbeat elements, but instead of mixing, more of that funk house sound, it leans more towards like the Japanese aesthetic, which is kind of a cool break. And I imagine with the little bit I've heard of the Shenmue soundtracks, that's more of an extension of his work on stuff like Revenge of Shinobi. So I'm curious to hear how he utilizes the Sega Genesis sound chip with his stylings and to see a little bit of those early years. Because this was pre-Streets of Rage 1 even, correct? Correct? Pretty sure about that. So let's go ahead and hear Opening. Wrong headphones. Let's try that again. Let's go ahead and hear Opening. Okay. First of all, I love the heavy kicks. Has that real marching sound to it. Simple synth. There we go. Ooh. Did I just hit the right key? Did I just hit the right key on that? Ooh. I loved that little shimmer there, man. He's just a master of like rhythm. He's a master of simplicity at times, but he's also really good at making stuff feel so catchy. Even something like that, just like a simple melody, he adds little flourishes that give it just enough pop and uniqueness. So I'm in the opening. Now, this next track is called Long Distance. Very similar start. I actually thought I started opening again. Ooh. That tom roll, it has a little bit of like metal drum rolls going on. Like you'd have to have a double bass to play. This is so triumphant. It's soaring. Do. Real 80s feel with the tom rolls. First of all, what I'd like to say is how dynamic this feels for... Okay, so Revenge of Shinobi originally came out in the arcades, I believe, right? Or am I making that up? The original Shinobi, of course, was an arcade game. Was Revenge ever an arcade game? I gotta check on that, but this composition feels so alive for a Genesis game. Especially in the 80s, the late 80s, early 90s. This is just a whole song. Dude, that's dope. Whew. Yuzo is something else, man. Yuzo is something else. Okay, now next up we have this Shinobi. This is probably the most well-known track from this soundtrack. Oh, oh, that panning little piano. Woohoo! You hear the Asian flair. This little whoo. This man. What's striking me listening to this soundtrack, man, is the complexity of these compositions. Yes, it just looped back, but it feels so dynamic. These are not just like little loops, little like 20, 30 second loops. He's getting so much out of this sound chip, and the amount of memory that was allocated for music in these older games. Ooh, I love that little clav. You hear that? Over here. Also that bass, the way it's connected with the kick. The Shinobi is, man, where does this stand in best Sega Genesis music? This is up there. I truly believe this is up there. Ooh, guys. I just love the multiple sections. Like this little break and how it flows right back in. Primo, 10 out of 10 song, 0 notes. One of the best songs on the console, period. Next up, we have Terrible Beat. What an ironic name for what is most certainly gonna be A fire beat. Ooh, this gotta be boss music. Ooh, that drum break. His fills are crazy, bro. His fills, his melodies are some of the catchiest in gaming music, period. This feels like we're fighting somebody. I know we're fighting something right here. I love the little bass lines just back there, just going. It's going. It's driving the rhythm. This song's all rhythm, movement, power, dynamicism, energy. Man. Whew. Terrible beat, guys. God damn. Whew. I need a cigarette after that one. Sunrise Boulevard. This one's more darker, more sinister. This must be like a nighttime stage or something. Ooh, those jazzy chords. Feeling a little Streets of Ragey right here. Without the house drums, but with like Streets of Rage type sounds right there. Now it's switched back to a more upbeat, up-tempo feel. Ooh. Love those E-toms. Ooh, that bass. That synth sounds like Celeste characters talking. Wow, 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 wow. What is that, Madeline? Hey, hey, hey. This one's groovy, man. Sunset Boulevard is groovy. Wow, 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 wow. One thing about this soundtrack that sticks out to me against like some of the Streets of Rage stuff is the drum choices, especially. None of that house rhythm with that open hi-hat that is a staple of house. This is more straight ahead drums. But I love how punchy the drums are. They have that MIDI sound, but they still are cracking through really well. Yeah. One of the things that you guys might remember when I covered, ooh, that one sounds like it might have a little bit more hip hop flair. One of the things you might remember if you guys go watch my Second Impact video is that I thought the mixing was a little lacking. If I'm being real honest, it just felt not very good. And that was holding back some of the compositions. Mixing involves more than just making everything sound good in its place. It's also about making decisions on how you want the information in the track conveyed to the listener. And I feel like regardless of the level of hardware that your music is playing back through, those decisions, do you make the synth sound a little louder so it's more forward? Do you pull back the drums with some reverb because you want it to feel more, musical, like music forward? These are all choices that maybe a producer doesn't make if they're also not mixing. I do my own mixing. I didn't used to, but if you are a producer and you want to release music and you don't want to mix, you have to at least learn enough about mixing to be able to convey that to your engineer. One of the more important relationships, I think, in music making is the producer and engineer, because that allows you to get the final sound that you heard when you produced it. Shout out to my guy Arcane Beats. I've worked with that guy for over 20 years now, which is crazy to say, but we've known each other a long time, and he was my engineer for a long time, and he always understood my vision, and I learned a lot about mixing from him, so I gotta give a shout out to the boy Arc. Now, this next track that just started, Make Me Dance, that sounded like it was gonna be a motherfucking funky John, all right? Let's peep this out. Ooh, it's got like that Shinobi walk bounce. Ooh, listen to that. Listen to that bass line. Very Shinobi walk in styling. Scary synth. That's a scary synth. Ooh. This song's way less melodic. This has more of that hip-hop vibe to it. This feels like some New Jack Swing. This is when you can start to hear Yuzo playing with those sounds. A lot of what you hear in the Streets of Rage soundtracks especially have that New Jack Swing influence from the Bobby Brown era of music. Ooh, he's just going off on the keys, tickling. Just stripping it all back, letting the bass ride for a couple bars. I love the triplet kicks. He's used that trick a lot. A lot of triplet kicks. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Bro, this feels like you could do a mashup with some like old New Edition with this. It's also got a little bit of Sonic vibes, and I know while he didn't compose Sonic stuff, he did do some Master System work for the Sonic games. I think he just was doing rearrangements, so maybe that stuff was in his brain. Well, this was pre-Sonic, but you know what I mean. Just gonna let this one ride. Love the stereo width. His sound selection is so masterful. I love the hybrid of kind of like an urban sound with the Japanese stylings and instrument choices. Sound synthesis is critical as well as a producer. Learn that and learn yourself, for real. Banger. Yeah. I'd say that one made me dance. Not a misnomer. Ooh, like a wind. Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 4. What time signature is this? I was trying to count it, but I'm also trying to listen. Ooh, little cowbell. This song's crazy. Not my favorite so far, but ooh, here we go. Why does this remind me of that song, I Hope You Stay? Who the fuck made that song? I hope you, There's that same melody. This must be like a bonus stage or something. Yo, those 80s toms still go hard. We need to bring those back to all music. Oh, I was expecting the time. Sorry. This low-key sounds like a road rash song. See, this sound is more what I associate with this style of Genesis soundtrack. Like kind of harsh synthesizers. I swear this is like the same synth patch as some of those Road Rash tracks. That was a decent song. Not my favorite, but it was dope. Now next up, Run or Die. Ooh, Run or Die. This is probably one of those sections where the wall's closing in. Ah. Ooh. So, I forget the name of the track from Streets of Rage 3, but it's when you're in the Japanese building and you're fighting samurai. The melody here reminded me of that. This melody also feels very Streets of Rage 1. Wonder where, I always like to try to figure out what time period people were composing stuff. This was probably later. Listen to that bass. Just bouncing. Ooh. I love how his counter melodies also are elite. Obvious. I mean, anything I gotta say about Yuzo, y'all probably already know. But love that little use of space, but those counter melodies are also really giving the main melody a lot of life. Now, next up, we just got Round Clear. Simple, to the point. You just cleared the stage. Ninja Step. Do get up. Ooh, little power up sound. I'm stepping like a ninja. Stepping like a ninja. Ooh. I love the experimentation he's got going on here. What the fuck is this? This is sick. Da 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 da. Oh. Clever use of vocal sample from the game. Yo. Imagine Yuzo and Hideki working together. Cause this is kind of giving me like, imagine some aspects of this with like some Jet Set Radio tunes, you know? I swear I'm hearing like mashups. Oh. Ooh. So creative. So creative. This is such a vibe. Little hip hop inspiration here. Just a little bit. And that's that. The Dark City. Oh! This one got that Mystic Cave bounce. This some Sonic 2 shit. What's that bass? Long release. Just bouncing. This is like an upright bass. He's playing like upright. Just walking around. Gives it that real like smoker lounge vibe. which is what I'm guessing a song like The Dark City is going for. That like seedy vibe, you know? Feels like I'm in an old jazz club or something. Love the swing. Love the swing on this one. Real syncopated. You hear us kind of. It's like swinging off the 2s and 4s. So it's hypnotic. It's like woozy. It's got a real woozy vibe to it. And he's playing that synth like he's playing a right hand on like a jazz piano, you know, like ragtime kind of style. This is groovy, man. We in the Dark City, y'all. Just a swangin'. Love the little triplet hi-hats that end every other bar. Ooh, that one's up there, man. I gotta say, the Shinobi can't be top yet, but little Chinatown vibe. Literally, because it's called Chinatown, but it's got that went from Japanese styling to Chinese vibes. Ooh. I love that. I got talked about this in one of the Jet Set Radio videos. How useful a sustained like string sound or pad sound or synth sound can be to just like give something a groundedness. Lets the melody do more, and see how he makes the synth sound more complex on the hook, the like refrain part, the heavier part. Because really that main melody, that Chinese hasn't changed much, but he's changing everything around it. That's smart composition. That's smart composition right there. See, he's building everything else around it. Very simple bass line, very open. Very open sound. This song is actually giving me, I don't know if you guys can see my shirt, Kumite 88. If y'all know Bloodsport, this song could be in Bloodsport. Has that very 80s martial arts flick vibe, which of course, Shinobi should have that vibe, and he's nailing it. I also love the cohesion of this soundtrack. It feels so well congealed. Amazing. Love Chinatown. So I think Over the Bay might be the stage where he fights Batman, right? And Spider-Man. Because it's supposed to be in America, like in San Francisco. Whoa. Listen to those chords in the back. Very Streets of Rage. Very Streets of Rage. Also that melody. This is the most Streets of Rage sounding song so far, by far. If you changed up the drums and some of the patch sounds, this is a vibe over the bay. Those chords especially are so Streets of Rage. Also, love how he is layering that patch up. Oh yeah, I can hear This is definitely somewhere the bridge between Streets of Rage 1 and what he was doing, for sure. For sure. Ooh. Those transitions. I'm gonna tell you guys something. I'm gonna tell you something to really pay attention to when you listen to not just game music, but music in general. You really hear, I feel like music production probably feels similar to flying a plane. Now, hear me out. The takeoff and the landing, I've always heard, are the two hardest parts. And I feel like for a lot of music producers, myself included, making the main loop, right? The meat of a beat, as it were, bars, is kind of the easy part. You jump in and you have an idea, you start, oh, let me do this, let me add these drums, let me do this, let me do this. At least how I work, I usually come back to intros and I usually create 8 or 16 bar sections that I then, it's always morphing, right? It isn't like, oh, it's done, let's just mash them together. But you kind of create your ideas and then you worry about how you block them together. That's coming from a hip hop production background. And over the years, one of the things I've noticed is when I focus more on the transitions, the intro, the outro, it just makes it feel more dynamic and alive. And I think that is the equivalent of taking off and landing the plane. It's the transitions. It's the little, as Andrew Huang says, the ear candy. The stuff that, adds a lot to a song, and to the average listener might not even be the important stuff, but it's this polished stuff. Anybody can make a 4-bar loop, an 8-bar loop, a 16-bar loop, be like, oh, this is hard. But can you turn it into a song by adding relevant fills that really give it a dynamic nature? Can you add, a clever intro, a clever outro, clever little breaks, clever bridges to give it more of a dynamic nature? Not every song needs it, but when you're creating music like game music that is supposed to be dynamic and give people a feeling, that stuff really matters. And Yuzo is a perfect example of an artist that can do all of that brilliantly. I hear so many great transitional pieces, little 2-bar bridges or rests between the loops to make you not even, when it loops back, you're not even almost aware that it's a loop because of how well he's utilizing all of that within his composition. So yeah, I just had to point that out. Definitely listen for that as you dive into music further if you are a producer, want to be a producer, or just want to be a more active listener with the music that you already listen to. So next up, we have Labyrinth. We got 6 more songs. These are all shorter, so let's just run right through these. Next up, Labyrinth. Oh, this could also be like a wall closing song. Oh my God. And, also the odd metering really keeps you on your toes. You're like, when's the synth coming back? Whoa, see, it's like double, and then up, then it cuts it back down. Whoa, this one is like, very dramatic. Whoa, I feel like, woo. Next up, the Ninja Master. That 4 on the floor, a little bit of house influence, just a little bit, with the 4 on the floor style. Not really, but just a little bit. Oh, this must be Last Boss music, because this is dramatic. Very dramatic. Oh, ding ding. Yo, when you do this, probably somewhere near Streets of Rage. This kind of sounds like Streets of Rage's boss music with having that repetitive on the 16th. Or, sorry, that was 30 seconds, right? Silence Night, not Silent Night. Gotta be ending credits, maybe? This is giving me a little Shining Force vibes. Like, I could hear this as an opening for Shining Force. Also, love that consistent bass line, because that's keeping it together. When he chose to have no drums, he was like, I gotta have a consistent bass to just give it shape. Yeah, that was real Shining Force-esque. This must be the ending music, because this is like a reprisal of a lot of the kind of musical stylings. Oh yeah, this is definitely credit music. I can see, a castle, and like just an explosion, and you think that, not a change up I expected. Love the little halftime drums. Also giving a little bit of that Kumite vibe. Like after he finished Chong-Li, say it. My lover. Up. Not to say that this song's less polished, but you noticed how it just went right back into the loop without some of that interstitial stuff that you hear in other songs. I also wonder too, with stuff like this, as a soundtrack composer, you don't necessarily know how long the ending's gonna be. So this could have been a scenario where he thought it was only gonna be, minute and 15 seconds. They're like, oh, actually, we've added more scenes. And he was like, oh, we'll just fucking loop it. I don't know what to tell you. I love this halftime drum. Just that bass line. Just holding the bass note. Sorry, the root note is obviously it's a bass note. Game over. You died, bro. Also very, very Streets of Rage. Oh, this last song is from the 2021 remaster of the Revenge of Shinobi soundtrack. This is called Untitled Unused. So who knows where the fuck this was going? Probably some lost stage. Whoa. Blam, 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 blam. Whoa, ooh, you're a little spooky synth. This was kind of vibey too. Trying to think, it feels like a song that probably should have been unused, you know? It fits, but like it's not really, you know? Wow. So, man, it's a lot to bite into there. I feel like what you hear here is a composer that at this point had largely done games like the E series, had largely worked, I think, with, lesser hardware. And I actually listened to a little of his older soundtracks before this just to kind of get into the mindset and think about what Yuzo sounded like back then. And it was interesting because it felt a lot more like just standard video game music of the time. It felt a lot more like just a guy making music. You can hear these are the starts, the shaping of the style that ultimately would make Yuzo a household name in gaming music. And I think it's important to remember stuff like this, that styles take time to develop, takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of iteration and a lot of creation to say, hey, this is what my music sounds like. I've been making music for 20-something years, and sometimes I'm like, what does my music sound like? And a lot of that comes down to how much you experiment, change genres, all that. But when you find a little cornerstone that makes you feel like this is mine, that's super important. And this feels like the beginning of what Yuzo would eventually create through stuff like Streets of Rage, through stuff like the new Shinobi game, like Shenmue. Because I think shortly after this, he formed Ancient to start making the Streets of Rage games and music. And this, it feels like the impetus. I actually love this soundtrack. I'm trying to think if I like it more. I think I like the Shinobi 3 soundtrack a little bit more, despite it not being Yuzo. That's probably a little biases because I am a huge fan of Shinobi 3 as a game, and I've heard that soundtrack so much. Tracks like Shinobi Walk, which I've covered on some of my albums. My track called Walk That Walk is a cover of Shinobi Walk. If you want to hear kind of my rendition of it out there, I'll link that down in the description and probably somewhere up here. But what I loved about the Revenge of Shinobi is, it's like the coalescing of Yuzo's style. You're starting to hear those signature sounds. You're really starting to feel that signature and that style that he would carry the torch for, and to create some of the most timeless gaming soundtracks that can be played anywhere. And his influences with house, his influences with dance and breakbeats, and even techno with a lot of his work on Streets of Rage 3 and some of his more experimental works. This is the start of that, and you can feel it. Now, like I said, I love Yuzo, so if you guys have any other, uncommon Yuzo soundtracks that you love, let me know down below, because I will seriously consider listening to those very, very soon. Now, next month, like I said, y'all been asking me to do Bomb Rush because of our boy Hideki, and I'm not only going to listen to the soundtrack, but I'm gonna play the game, and I'm gonna do a full retrospective video as well. So expect those next month. We got a lot of fun shit going on. So if you like what you're hearing and seeing, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment down below. What are some other soundtracks that you'd like to see me react to? Any game. Doesn't have to be Yuzo, doesn't have to be Hideki music. It could be really anything, because ultimately the Gamersician listens for y'all. So, as always, I sincerely appreciate each and every one of y'all watching. And until next time, make sure you go check out my Shinobi 3 retrospective, because, yeah, that game is something special, Yuzo or not. So, you know what it is. Until next time, y'all be good, all right? Peace.